Hello, friends, and welcome to Facetime. This is Coach Nick here with a brand new show that I'm going to be providing all of you with an opportunity to watch and enjoy. It's going to be Monday through Friday, 1 o'clock to 1:30, right on our Facebook page for Sports Zone 101. So what is this show going to be about? It's going to talk about a lot of different topics. One of which is, of course, sports. Many of you know that that's one of my big passions. But we're also going to get an opportunity to talk about things that range from music to hobbies to food, all those different sorts of things. So I hope that you can interact with me while we do all of our episodes here and get a chance to talk, like I said, about all different sorts of great topics. On today's show, we're going to be talking about baseball. Big surprise, I know, for some of you right there. Baseball, again, is one of my big passions that there is in life. And we're going to be talking all different things about baseball, ranging from how to play it, Major League Baseball. We're going to talk about the Red Sox. As you can see, I'm wearing my Red Sox hat today. And we're also going to be talking about some of the greatest moments, greatest players that could have been on the Red Sox or in Major League Baseball history, and a whole lot more. So as I said, we're going to be talking about baseball today. I did want to let you know that this week's themes that we will be talking about are sports and games. Baseball is the one that we'll be leading off for today. Baseball is a game that I've played for pretty much all my life. I started when I was about 3 or 4 years old. That was my introduction to learning how to play, which was through t-ball. And I just love the fact of putting a bat in my hands, being able to hit this white baseball thing that was coming at me. I never really used the tee that much. I always, not to, toot my own horn, but I just love to be able to swing the bat and run those bases. I tried to hit a home run every single time that I was up at the plate. So that's always, again, been my big passion about anything, has been baseball. I've always had that kind of identity to myself ever since I was little. There are many ways on how to begin how to play the game. I do know that with baseball, it is a very hard game for some to learn how to do. It takes a while to learn how to hit a ball. Obviously, to be able to catch it, that's another thing that's very difficult to be able to do. I have a great video that gives a demonstration for anybody on how to play the game, whether you're throwing the ball, whether you're fielding the ball, whether you're hitting the ball. I would like to be able to show that video with all of you, and then we'll have a discussion about that as soon as the video is over. So let's take a look at that video right now.
The question is asked, how to play baseball? Well, that's a very wide question, and we could talk for days on how to play baseball because there's so many intricacies of the game itself. But in short, let's explain it this way. There are 9 players, 9 on defense, 9 on offense. On offense, the 9 players must bat in the same batting order each and every time. So if you occupy the first place in the batting order, each time you come to bat, you would bat after the 9th place hitter. On defense, we have 9 players. On the pitcher's mound, directly behind me, we have the pitcher. The pitcher is the guy that puts the ball in play by throwing the ball to the catcher. The catcher is placed behind home plate and is the only person that plays in foul territory. He's usually in the squatting position to receive the ball into the strike zone, which we'll talk about in a moment. The other players are located 2 on the right side of the infield or the dirt area, 1 at first, 1 at second. They're called the first baseman and second baseman respectively. And 2 more players on the left side of the infield, the shortstop, which plays near second base, and the third baseman who plays near third base. The other 3 players are the left fielder, the center fielder, and the right fielder. All these players play on defense until 3 outs are recorded. Outs are recorded in this fashion. The pitcher throws the ball to the catcher. The strike zone is an imaginary zone that's a rectangle. The outside part of the rectangle is the outside part of the plate. The inside part is the inside part of the plate, which is basically 18 inches wide. The top of the strike zone is basically the chest of the batter, and the lower part of the zone is basically the knees batter. So everything that passes in this rectangle would be recorded as a strike if the umpire deems it to be in that zone. Each batter gets 3 strikes, and then if he doesn't put the ball in play, he's declared out, whether he takes the ball or whether he swings at the ball. An out is recorded you get 3 swings per batter. There's also something called a ball. If the pitcher fails to throw the ball in that strike zone rectangle, it's recorded as a ball, and that's at the umpire's discretion. Once 4 balls are recorded, the batter is awarded first base on a base on balls. So he goes unimpeded and unchallenged to first base. Each offensive team gets 3 outs. Outs can be recorded by strikeouts, as we've described, or by balls that are caught in the air by a defensive player, or if a defensive player catches the ball that has struck the ground, if he throws it to the base the guy is going to, and it's a force play where the guy has to run to that base, and in the first case here being first, then that is an out. If the ball beats the runner to the base and the first baseman is in contact with the base when he catches the ball, then that's recorded as an out. Each offensive team gets 3 outs before they're half of the inning over. Once 3 outs are recorded, the defensive team now becomes the offensive team, and the offensive team takes the field, and that's called an inning. Each game is 9 innings, and as long as the score is not tied, the team with the most runs at the end of 9 innings is declared the winner of the game. Should the game be tied, then they play extra innings until one team is 1 run in front of the other team, and therefore is rewarded the game as the winning team. And basically, and in short, that's how you play the game of baseball.
Well, there you have it. There's how you play the game of baseball. So that explanation right there talked about the different positions that there are, different ways you can get outs, and then, of course, talking about how you can actually score runs and everything, too. This gentleman right here talks about how most games have 9 innings. I know when you're a little bit younger, you might not play 9 innings. You might play 6 innings. And some might play that everybody gets to hit 1 time through the lineup, and then the other team gets to come in and do the same. That's at the very beginning level of how to play the game. When you get to be a little bit older and you get to that next level, that's when more of the rules become a little bit more by the book, as that gentleman explained right there. I want to know, though, from all of you that are watching, what position is your favorite position to play, or what position do you play? So if you have that opportunity right now, in our comments section right here, put your position on what your favorite spot on the baseball field is to play. I would also like to know what spot in the batting lineup that you like to hit. Do you like to lead off? Do you like to be first? Do you like to be the cleanup hitter, the number 3 hitter? Let us know right there. When you go and play baseball too, some people have different routines or different things that they like to do. Do you have a specific routine that you like? I know when I played, I knew that I had to always have a specific pair of batting gloves. My idol when I grew up was Nomar Garciaparra, and I had to make sure I had Nomar batting gloves every time that I got up there. If I didn't feel like if I didn't have those gloves, I felt like I wasn't going to be able to get a hit, or I wasn't going to get the job done. So if you have a specific, maybe your glove is from a specific favorite player, let us know on that too. I think it's very interesting to be able to know what your favorite interests in the game are. So please let us know what those are. I think that would be really fun to be able to see what everybody's special things are that when they play the game. Baseball is a game that has been played since the 18th century. It actually came from England. In the 19th century, it came over here to America, and it first started in 1869. That is a long, long, long time ago. I don't know if any of you knew, but one of the things that I found fascinating is that the very first team in baseball or Major League Baseball history, they are known as the Cincinnati Red Stockings. How about that, huh? Another thing that's pretty interesting is that team later became the Boston Red Stockings, which was in 1901. How many of you knew that Boston had 2 baseball teams? It wasn't the Red Sox. It was the Boston Red Stockings to start, and then it was also the Boston Pilgrims. Those are your 2 teams that you had there in Boston. It wasn't until, I want to say it was 1903, when the Boston Red Sox finally came into an organization. So the Red Sox have been around for quite some time, over 100 years now. What's fascinating, too, is that when the Red Stockings later moved, they moved out in about, I think it was 1950, right? 1950, 1951. And that team now is the Atlanta Braves, believe it or not. So that was one of the, that was a little bit of trivia right there, a little bit of history about our Red Sox or our Boston teams, which were the Red Sox, now of current day Red Sox, and the Atlanta Braves, who used to be a part of Boston. Isn't that cool? Ball used to be the Boston Braves. Before we start talking more about the Red Sox and the rest of Major League Baseball, and also do a fun activity with you later, which will involve a top 5 of your greatest moments and in baseball history and in Red Sox history, I have right here a baseball bat and a tennis ball. Now, I realize tennis ball is not the same as a baseball. This is just what I have here for a ball inside my studio where I'm at. With this bat, what you can do, if you are really want to go out and hit. When I was younger, I had a device that was called a hit away. It's basically a self-pitch kind of device that you put on a pole. You strap it on that pole or anything, and it winds up and it twirls around, and you can be able to swing a baseball bat from there. And that can help you with your swings. I just want to show you before you start swinging a bat. I happen to be a lefty, okay? As a hitter, you want to make sure you have 2 hands fully on that grip of this baseball bat. Here's your grip right here, okay? When you hit, you want to make sure that this big part, we usually call this the barrel of the bat, is square right where you're going to hit that ball across that plate. So if it's square, much like that, that's called hitting the ball in the big part of the bat. That's where you get really solid contact or hits from. So again, this is your motion that you're going to be starting with, rather. Your hands fully on that bat, nice and controlled, and you want to get that bat and land that plane kind of right there at the middle, and then follow through right there. Okay. Again, I recommend using that pole, which is the hit away, to help you with hitting while you don't have any friends, you don't have any games and anything going on. It's a great device that you can use to continue to practice. Here's a tennis ball. I'm using this tennis ball here for a reason, and that's because when you're inside, obviously you're not going to throw a baseball. It can break things, it can damage things from your house. Tennis balls, or something soft, or maybe a squish ball or some sorts, really works well if you want to play catch with yourself. You might be able to find a wall outside your house, maybe a garage door, so long as it's okay with your parents or your guardians, and you can throw it up against the wall, and you can work on your fielding, and you can work on your throwing a little bit. I'm going to actually get up here for a second, and I'm going to show you the proper way that you can field the ball. I'm going to move this camera so you can kind of see what we're going to do here. So when you field the ball, you want to make sure that your knees are bent, okay, much like I am right here, okay, and typically you'd have a glove in your hand right here too. I just don't happen to have a glove with me, okay. If you're pretending there's the ball, okay, you want to make sure you're low enough to the ground where you can scoop it up and get yourself ready to throw. Again, I'll show you one more time. You want to stay nice and balanced. You want to stay low to the ground, scoop it up, field it, step and throw. Now, I happen to have a door right here, and I can throw it up against the door and work on staying low, work on moving around, making sure my feet stay nice and balanced, and you can work at something like that. So that is an activity that I highly recommend if you would like to improve upon or work on some of the skills that you may want to do while we're in this quarantine period or this pandemic period that we are in. That's a recommendation from me. There are also a lot of other kind of drills and skills that you can do on your own. If you happen to have a particular drill that you really like to do on your own, gladly let me know here from commenting I know some people at home have the luxury of having something called a pitchback, and you can throw the ball in that pitchback and it will come back to you. Some have the luxury of having a sibling or a family member that are home so you can play catch. That's also great of things that you can do too while you're at home. There are still ways that you can play this game to improve on practicing your skills while being at home. So let us know if you have other particular interests that you really like to do for baseball. Tell us, because I would love to know what some of those things are too. Right now, I am on MajorLeagueBaseball.com, otherwise known as MLB.com. On this website, it will show you the different teams there are in all these in your leagues. You have the AL East, which if I scroll right here, it will show the Baltimore Orioles, the Boston Red Sox, the New York Yankees, the Tampa Bay Rays, and the Toronto Blue Jays. In the AL Central, you have the Chicago White Sox, the Cleveland Indians, the Detroit Tigers, the Kansas City Royals, and the Minnesota Twins. In the American League West, you have the Houston Astros, you have the Los Angeles Angels, the Oakland Athletics, the Seattle Mariners, and the Texas Rangers. In the NL East, you have the Atlanta Braves, the Miami Marlins, the New York Mets, the Philadelphia Phillies, the Washington Nationals. In the National League Central, you have the Chicago Cubs, the Cincinnati Reds, the Milwaukee Brewers, the Pittsburgh Pirates, the St. Louis Cardinals. And then finally, in the NL West, you have the Arizona Diamondbacks, the Colorado Rockies, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the San Diego Padres, and the San Francisco Giants. So right there, that represents your 30 teams in baseball. It's pretty impressive that there are 30 teams. Our newest team, just so you know, there's been a lot of history over the years that have incorporated new teams. But some of the newest teams include the Washington Nationals, which used to be the Montreal Expos. You also have the Tampa Bay Rays, which were established, I believe, in 1998. That's a brand new team. That's right there. And then I do know that the Rockies were a newer team, and the Arizona Diamondbacks were a new team as well. They were about in the 1990s right there. Some teams have changed locations over the years. So it used to be the Florida Marlins. Now it's the Miami Marlins. Like I said with the Atlanta Braves, it used to be the Boston Braves, but now it's the Atlanta Braves. So those are some examples right there. San Francisco, that was another team that used to be the New York Giants. Then they moved to San Francisco and became the San Francisco Giants. There are so many special moments, special teams, and special events, special players throughout Major League Baseball history that it's hard to really count the amount of great things that I have seen in my lifetime. I've been lucky enough to see in my lifetime over the years. Now, Red Sox are my heart and soul. That's my team that I've always loved ever since I was a little kid. I've been lucky enough to be able to see the 2004, the 2007, the 2013, and the 2018 World Championship. Behind me is actually a picture from the 2013. I can move, I'll move this way so you can kind of see it. That is a picture from the 2013 World Series, and that happened to be, I believe that was Game 1 at Fenway Park. So that background right there is pretty special to me because that was a team that I really, really enjoyed watching for and rooting for. There's been great players that the Red Sox have had in their history. There's been great players in Major League Baseball history. And one of the things that we're going to do as an activity is I am going to share with you my top 5 of both Major League Baseball players of all time. And then I'm also going to do a special top 5 all-time Red Sox players that I think are the greatest that have played for the Red Sox over the years too. I'm going to make it a little bit easier for you on this activity that we'll have coming up after we watch this video, which I'll explain. The video that we're about to see features some of the greatest moments that have happened in Red Sox history. There's been some great moments. There's been some heart-crushing moments we were just this close to winning on some of these things, some of these moments rather, and I think it's a great opportunity for us to get a chance to watch it It's a very powerful video. So I hope if you forgot some of these moments throughout the years, it's a good chance to kind of go back and rethink about some of those times where maybe we Red Sox really got lucky, or the Red Sox, unfortunately, were on the other end of the side where they would go on and lose maybe one of their championships. So let's take a look at it, and then we will get to our very fun activity after we're done watching the video.
3-2 to Mookie Wilson. Little roller up along first. Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it. Deep to left. Yastrzemski will not get its home run. A 3-run home run for Buckington. The Yankees now lead it by a score of 3-2. His first down out of the game. There's a fly ball deep to left. It's on its way. There it goes. And the Yankees are going to the World. The Yankees 17-7 when they can clinch under Joe Torre. Is going to come in for Boston. Roberts is going. Posada's throw. Roberts safe. Up the middle. Roberts will come to the plate. The throw by Williams. Bill Miller has tied it. Swing and a drive. Deep right, way back Sheffield. It's gone. The Red Sox have won it. Ortiz fights it off center field. Damon running to the plate, and he can keep on running to New York. Like a scene from The Natural, Schilling climbs the mound.
cannot count the Sox out. Because if there's a group of idiots that can do it, it's us.
The full count pitch. Bogarts with a chopper up the third baseline for Andujar. Long throw. They can't make the play. Here comes Broadley to score, and this game is tied. And through, and that's how the Red Sox have walked it off tonight. Wow!
And the 3-1 pitch. Christian swings, hits a drive to center field. This ball's back. It is gone! It is gone! A walk-off home run!
In the air to center of it. Back is Sizemore.
That ball is hit, and that one is on its way. Number 4 in a row!
Lanky right-hander is ready. 2-2 pitches, swung on and bounced to second base. Sanchez to Offerman, a no-hitter.
So there you have it right there. What a wonderful video that was to look back in past history of all the special players and moments and that the Red Sox have had in their history. I don't know if there was a particular one that stood out for you. Why don't you comment? Tell me which one that you think is the greatest moment right there in Red Sox history. I will tell you, me personally, that was 2004. When the Red Sox won their first World Championship in 86 years. That was against the St. Louis Cardinals, and it had some of the best players that I just fell in love with watching. You had Pedro Martinez, and you had Curt Schilling, David Ortiz, Manny Ramirez, just to name a few on that team. That was just such a bunch of great players kind of coming all together and finally beating that curse of, you know, if you believed in curses, that 86-year drought that the Red Sox had not won a championship from. So that's what stood out to me. There's other special moments that stood out for other people. Maybe the 2018 World Championship was really impactful for you. Maybe it was the 2007, or maybe it was the 2013. All those are special, special moments. What I liked true about the video is it started out with some of the heartbreakers. Bill Buckner, you saw at the very beginning, was the player at the Red Sox that the ball went through his legs, and that pretty much lost the World Series for them, that game. You had the 2003 game where Tim Wakefield gave up a home run to Aaron Boone, and the Yankees went to the World Series. And then you also had that 1978 game, Red Sox-Yankees, and Bucky Dent hit that home run to lead the Yankees to an AL pennant. So those moments led up to the great moments, the World Series moments, and all those special highlights from there. So that was a pretty awesome chance to take a look at some great past moments that have been in Red Sox history. I have a fun activity for you to do next, and that is going to take a little bit of imagination on your part if you'd like to participate in this. I have a challenge, and here is the challenge that I have for you. I would like for you to create a picture or a structure of a building of some sorts of a replica of Fenway Park. Now, it doesn't have to be life size. I'm talking about maybe a drawing. Maybe you can use some crayons or some markers or colored pencils and do a picture of what Fenway Park looks like to you. You can also, like I said, build. Maybe you can build with blocks, or you can build with maybe old recyclable containers that you no longer use. That's my challenge for you, and I would like you to use your imagination and make it your own. And I'd like you to, when you're done, at some point in the next week, or even if you're done after this for today, take a picture, and then on our next episode, I would like to share some of the special pictures that have come in that you have created. I think it will be really fun to see what you can use with your own imagination. So I challenge you, and then I'm going to make a picture myself, and then I'll share it with you on our next episode that we have. The next topic that I'd like to talk about revolving baseball is we're going to stick with the Major League Baseball and Red Sox, and I have another activity for you to think about. I have my list, but you can have your list as well. But I would like to have an opportunity where we can rank some of our special moments or players in Red Sox history. Why don't we go with players? It's tough for some of you who are younger to really go back into the the 1950s, 60s, 70s, and before that too. So what I'm going to do is make this a little bit more simple. And I'm going to make this the greatest Red Sox, the top 5 greatest Red Sox since the year 2000. And you can make a list of whoever you would like. From there, you can also comment if we maybe are missing somebody, or if somebody is not, or somebody should definitely be deserved of a mention. Gladly comment right here, and we can have a discussion about that too. I am going to rank right now my top 5 from the year 2000 and on. I am going to start out with number 5 on my list, and I happen to write it down here so we can have a little bit of a discussion about that. My number 5 greatest Red Sox player that I put on my list right here happens to be the last captain of the Boston Red Sox. That was Jason Varitek. Jason Varitek was an incredible catcher for the Red Sox that was able to be a part of the 2004 and the 2007 World Championship. He was able to catch Pedro Martinez, another player who I think very highly of. He was able to catch a bunch of no-hitters. He was able to catch John Lester's and Clay Buchholz, and I believe Derek Lowe's as well too. So and Hideo Nomo. He caught 4 no-hitters right there. So that's pretty and tremendous right there in the career of Jason Varitek. So he's number 5 on my list. Number 4 on my list happened to be a pitcher that I'm still a little bit frustrated that he never ended up coming back to the Red Sox, because he's been able to have a tremendous career as well in his other organization that he was signed by, and that is the Chicago Cubs. This is John Lester. John Lester had an unbelievable run with the Red Sox when he debuted. I believe it was 2005. I think that was 2000. No, it was 2006 when he debuted with the Red Sox. And he's one of their greatest postseason performers in club history. Responsible for the 2007 and 2013 World Championship. I miss Lester's compete level and the amount of give me that ball attitude, that no nonsense kind of attitude. So Lester is my number 4 on my list of the greatest Red Sox since 2000. Number 3, this is the greatest right-handed batter that I've had the chance of seeing in my lifetime. This guy made quite a tremendous 3-4 combo in the lineup. He played left field for the Red Sox and helped deliver both the 2004 and 2007 World Series championship. He was your 2004 World Series MVP. That is Manny Ramirez. Manny had quite a turbulent history with the Red Sox and all, but I will never ever forget how impactful he was on the baseball field with his bat. That swing was one of the most beautiful swings I've ever seen, with how he was able to drive that ball anywhere that he could and just be an absolute force in that lineup. So Manny is my number 3. Number 2, that would be Pedro Martinez. And He is the single greatest pitcher that I got a chance to see in my lifetime. Pedro, anytime you needed that ball, Pedro Martinez was the guy. I was lucky enough in 1999 to see him pitch in the All-Star game when he struck out 5 out of the 6 of some of the top batters in the National League in one of those games. Another great game I got a chance to see him pitch was against the Yankees. It was both in 1999 when he struck out, I believe, 19 batters in a game and threw a one-hitter against them. Never had a no-hitter. Had a couple one-hitter opportunities against the Yankees and I believe it was the Devil Rays at the time. The other tremendous and probably his best performance that I've ever seen happen from him is when he came out of the bullpen in 1999 for Game 5 against the Indians, and he just completely dominated on not the greatest of stuff. He was hurt. He ended up coming out of the bullpen and just shutting it down and delivering the Red Sox to the American League Championship Series in 1999 against the Yankees. The Red Sox came up short then. But it was still a tremendous performance that was truly breathtaking to see what he was able to do, because you didn't know what Pedro was going to give you. So it was a big question. So that was tremendous from Pedro. And we're lucky enough that Pedro is still a part of the Red Sox, where he's mentoring and helping some of the younger players now improve upon their skills. No surprise on number 1 here, folks. That's David Ortiz from me. Responsible for 3 championships with the Red Sox. Greatest designated hitter who's ever lived. Ever since Ortiz came to the Red Sox in 2003, he was released by the Minnesota Twins, and boy, they must have regretted that over the years. But Ortiz, just anytime he was up, it was must-see TV. For what he was able to do on and off the field, his impact with just getting championships and being somebody that fans absolutely adored and loved. I know I miss him, and seeing some of the games that are going on without him now. It's kind of weird not seeing Ortiz part of that lineup, but Ortiz is definitely number 1 for me. So again, number 5 for me was Jason Varitek. Number 4, John Lester. Number 3, Manny Ramirez. Number 2, Pedro Martinez. And number 1, Big Papi, David Ortiz. What is your ranking? How would you rank them? Would you agree with me? Do you disagree? There's some honorable mentions. Curt Schilling, Nomar Garciaparra, Jonathan Papelbon, Mookie Betts. You can also put him in there. J.D. Martinez, Xander Bogaerts. I mean, there's a player who's just been one of the best shortstops since Nomar, okay, on the team. So there's all different sorts of options you can go with. Last thing I want to finish with is for greatest moments. And the greatest moments that I will say, at least on the Red Sox end, I would rank going 1 through 5. I would go number 1 for 2004. For the next greatest moment, I will go with the 2007 team, because that was just tremendous what they were able to do. I would go with number 3, the 2013 championship winning at Fenway Park. Number 4, I'd go with the 2018 championship winning against the Dodgers. And then number 5, I'm gonna go with that 1999 game that I saw from Pedro when he came out of the bullpen and be able to get the Red Sox to the championship series. That was truly an amazing moment there. You can also put the no-hitters in there. John Lester, Clay Buchholz, Hideo Nomo, and then, of course, Derek Lowe. I was lucky enough to go to Derek Lowe's no-hitter when I was a kid, and that was amazing to be able to witness, firsthand and seeing there. If you have other greatest moments, I want you to comment, and I want you to let us know how you would rank some of these moments for the Red Sox. And then also, for another activity for you to do, you can also look back at some of the other greatest moments in baseball history, which we are providing here on the link on our Facebook feed. So take a look at that, because it's also worth a good watch. And that showcases some other moments from way back in the day, going back even from the 20s and 30s with Babe Ruth. You have the 1951, the greatest catch of all time, for the 1951 when the Giants won the pennant. So that was pretty cool. and so many other things too. It's just amazing how lucky we are to be able to witness so many of these great things before our eyes. And that's going to do it here for FaceTime. We hope everybody had a wonderful time watching and learning and interacting with me here on our brand new show that we have provided for you online here on our Facebook page. We're going to talk more this week about sports and games, and we're going to talk more about football. That'll be our topic of discussion tomorrow. And we will be learning about all things in the NFL, and we're talking about the New England Patriots too. So we will see you next time, and I hope that everybody stays healthy and well. Join us again at 1 o'clock tomorrow for our next episode. We'll see you then.